At 90 years old, Sophia Loren is more than just a name. She is a force of nature, a woman who defied the impossible, broke every rule, and conquered an industry that was never built for her. She wasn't born into luxury, nor was she handed stardom on a silver platter. She fought for every ounce of success, shattering expectations with sheer resilience. But behind the dazzling smile and captivating beauty lies a story riddled with hardship, scandal, and sacrifice. Affairs with Hollywood's biggest names, battles with rejection, devastating losses. How did she survive it all? And after everything, what does she look like today? Before she became a global star, Sophia Loren's journey began in the unlikeliest of places, amid the ruins of war-torn Italy. Before the fame, the red carpets, and the world's admiration, Sophia Loren was just a hungry little girl in a crumbling town. Born as Sophia Villani Ciccoloni in 1934, she entered a world filled with struggle. Her hometown, Pozzuoli, Italy, was drowning in poverty, and war had turned life into a daily battle for survival. Bombs fell from the sky, food was scarce, and fear loomed over every street corner. Sophia and her mother lived through nights of explosions, waking up to shattered buildings and shattered dreams. But hunger wasn't the only pain she endured. Her father abandoned them, leaving Sophia and her mother to fend for themselves. In a time when a woman raising children alone was met with harsh judgment, her mother, Romilda, bore the weight of shame and hardship. Sophia was thin, frail, and often sick, earning the cruel nickname, the toothpick. She didn't look like a girl destined for greatness. Yet, there was a fire inside her that no war, no hunger, and no cruel words could put out. She found solace in old Hollywood films, watching legendary actresses with a longing that felt almost unbearable. Her mother, a woman who once dreamed of being an actress herself, saw something in her daughter. She believed Sophia could have the life she never did. Desperate for a way out, they moved to Naples, where Romilda pushed Sophia into the world of beauty pageants. It was a last-ditch effort, one that could either open doors or break her completely. At just 14, Sophia stood in front of judges, draped in a curtain her mother had turned into a dress. She was still thin, still awkward, but there was something in her presence, something undeniable. That beauty pageant was just the beginning. It gave her a taste of attention, a glimpse of what life could be outside the ruins of her childhood. But looking beautiful wasn't enough. She had to prove she was more than just a face. And that fight was only beginning. Sophia Loren's road to success was anything but easy. Moving to Rome in pursuit of her dream, she quickly realized that ambition alone wouldn't be enough. The film industry was ruthless, especially to a young woman with no connections and no formal training. She auditioned for countless roles, only to be turned down time and time again. Casting directors told her she was too different, that her features were too exotic for leading roles. She didn't fit Hollywood's standard of beauty. Her lips were too full, her nose too pronounced, and her body too curvy. She was too much of everything they didn't want. With every rejection, survival became harder. Money was scarce, and there were days she went hungry. She lived in cheap apartments, taking on whatever work she could find just to keep going. She appeared in small, forgettable films, sometimes in roles so insignificant her name wasn't even in the credits. She posed for photo comics, played background characters, and took jobs that paid barely enough to live on. At times, she questioned if she would ever make it. Then, everything changed when Carlo Ponti entered her life. A powerful Italian film producer, he recognized something in Sophia that others overlooked. She wasn't just a beautiful face, she had depth, intensity, and undeniable screen presence. Ponti took her under his wing, helping her navigate an industry that constantly tried to push her aside. But their relationship sparked controversy from the start. Ponti was a married man, and divorce was nearly impossible in Italy at the time. Their closeness became a scandal, feeding endless gossip. People whispered that she was just his mistress, that he was only helping her because of their affair. Sophia, who had spent her life fighting for respect, suddenly found herself trapped in a reputation she hadn't chosen. But she didn't let the rumors destroy her. She focused on her work, determined to prove that her talent, not her relationships, would define her career. As her reputation grew in Italy, she set her sights on Hollywood, but the struggle wasn't over. American producers still didn't believe in her. They wanted her to change everything about herself, her name, her style, even her voice. They told her she needed to soften her look, lose her accent, and become more marketable if she wanted to be a star. She refused. She would not erase her identity just to please Hollywood. She wouldn't change her face, her body, or the way she spoke. She had fought too hard to be who she was, and for years, that defiance cost her roles. But she was relentless. She kept auditioning, kept proving herself, and kept pushing forward. She worked on her craft, took on challenging roles, and waited for the moment when the world would finally see her for who she was. And that moment was coming. Hollywood was about to take notice, and this time, she would be the one setting the rules. Sophia Loren's rise to fame was nothing short of extraordinary. After years of rejection, struggles, and heartbreak, her perseverance finally paid off. In 1954, she starred in The Gold of Naples, a film that would change everything. It wasn't just another Italian movie, it was a revelation. Sophia's screen presence was electric, her performance unforgettable. She wasn't just beautiful, she was powerful, raw, and completely mesmerizing. The world took notice. Suddenly, the industry that had once dismissed her now wanted her. Hollywood came calling, and this time, Sophia was ready. She packed her bags, left behind the struggles of her early career, and stepped onto the grandest stage of all. She was about to take over Hollywood. And she did. Working alongside legends like Cary Grant, Frank Sinatra, and Marlon Brando, she became one of the most sought-after actresses in the world. She wasn't just a foreign starlet making guest appearances. She was a leading lady, holding her own against some of the biggest names in the industry. But it wasn't just her beauty that made her stand out. Hollywood had plenty of beautiful women. Sophia had something else. Depth, charisma, and an emotional intensity that made every performance unforgettable. She brought something different to American cinema, a boldness and sensuality that felt new, exciting, and completely irresistible. Then came the role that changed history. In 1960, she starred in Two Women, a film that demanded more from her than anything she had done before. It was a brutal, emotional story about a mother protecting her daughter during wartime. This was not a glamorous Hollywood film, it was raw, painful, and deeply real, and Sophia didn't just act, she lived the role. Her performance was so powerful that it did something no other had done before. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress, the first person to ever win for a non-English-speaking role. The world was stunned. Sophia Loren, the girl who had been told she would never make it, had just made history. But her success wasn't just about winning awards. She built a career that was unlike anyone else's. While most actors had to choose between Hollywood and their home countries, Sophia refused to be limited. She moved effortlessly between American blockbusters and Italian masterpieces, creating a legacy that spanned cultures, languages, and generations. She had done what no one thought possible. She proved that she was more than just a pretty face. She had conquered Hollywood, dominated Italian cinema, and secured her place as one of the most respected actresses in the world. But while her career reached dazzling heights, her personal life was filled with controversy and passion. Behind the cameras, there was a story that the world was desperate to know. Sophia Loren's love life was as dramatic as the films she starred in. At the center of it all was Carlo Ponti, the man who changed her life in more ways than one. He wasn't just her mentor or the producer who saw her potential, he was her greatest love. But their story was far from simple. When they met, Carlo was already married. Divorce in Italy was illegal at the time, making their relationship a scandal before it even began. People whispered, judged, and speculated. Was he just another powerful man shaping the career of a young actress? But Sophia knew the truth. What they had was real. For years they kept their love hidden, dodging the press and pretending to be nothing more than colleagues, but they couldn't live in the shadows forever. In a desperate move, they left Italy and married in Mexico in 1957, thinking they had found a loophole. Instead, it only made things worse. The Italian courts refused to recognize their marriage, calling it illegal. The pressure was relentless. Sophia was accused of being Ponti's mistress, his illegitimate wife, and worse. For a woman who had fought so hard to earn respect, this was a heavy burden. She had built a career on her merit, yet society wanted to reduce her to a scandal. But she never wavered. She loved Carlo, and she was willing to fight for him. They found their solution in France, where divorce laws were more flexible. Carlo became a French citizen, obtained a legal divorce, and in 1966, they finally married for real. It had taken nearly a decade, but their love had survived. Yet, there was another man in Sophia's story, Cary Grant. The legendary Hollywood star was captivated by her from the moment they met. During the filming of Houseboat in 1958, the chemistry between them was undeniable. Carey, known for his charm and playboy reputation, had fallen for her completely. He wasn't subtle about it either. He sent her love letters, showered her with attention, and even proposed. For a brief moment, Sophia was torn. Cary Grant was one of the most desirable men in the world, offering her a life of glamour and Hollywood royalty, but deep down she knew where her heart belonged. Carlo was the man she trusted, the one who had believed in her from the start. She turned Cary down, choosing loyalty over temptation. Her love story with Carlo was one of Hollywood's rarest, one that lasted. They remained together for over 50 years through every success and every storm. He was more than just her husband, he was her anchor. But Sophia wasn't just a devoted wife, she was a dedicated mother. Despite the pressures of Hollywood, she made it clear that family came first. She longed to be a mother, but the road wasn't easy. She suffered multiple miscarriages before finally giving birth to 2 sons, Carlo Jr. and Edoardo. She chose to step back from the spotlight at times, prioritizing her children over fame. She refused to let Hollywood dictate what a woman's life should look like. For Sophia, family was everything. But love and loyalty didn't shield her from heartbreak. Some losses would cut deeper than she ever imagined. Sophia Loren's life was filled with triumph, but behind the glamour, she faced heartbreaks that left deep scars. One of her greatest struggles was becoming a mother. She had always dreamed of having children, of building a family beyond the silver screen, but fate was cruel. She suffered multiple miscarriages, each one more devastating than the last. She grieved in silence, longing for the one role she couldn't seem to have: motherhood. The pain was unbearable, but she refused to give up. With medical help and sheer determination, she finally gave birth to her 2 sons, Carlo Jr. and Edoardo. They became the center of her world, a source of joy after so much suffering. But loss never stayed far from her life. As the years passed, Sophia watched many of her closest friends fade away. One of the deepest wounds was losing Marcello Mastroianni, her most beloved co-star and dear friend. They had shared the screen in some of the most iconic films of Italian cinema, their chemistry unmatched. Their friendship spanned decades, filled with laughter, respect, and an unspoken understanding. When he passed away in 1996, it felt like the end of an era. But it didn't stop there. Many of the Hollywood legends she had worked with, Cary Grant, Frank Sinatra, and Marlon Brando, were gone too. With each passing year, she became one of the last survivors of a golden age. The loneliness of outliving so many friends weighed heavily on her. She had built her career alongside icons, only to watch them disappear one by one. Then came the most painful loss of all. In 2007, Carlo Ponti, her husband, her rock, her greatest love, passed away. They had spent over 50 years together, building a life filled with passion, love, and unwavering devotion. He had stood by her side through every challenge, every success, every storm, and now she had to face life without him. The grief was overwhelming, but Sophia didn't crumble. She carried on, holding on to the love they had built. Even in heartbreak, she remained a symbol of strength, a woman who had weathered life's worst storms and still stood tall. But through all this, shocking rumors surrounded her career and personal life. Stories of affairs, betrayals, and hidden secrets never seemed to fade. Sophia Loren's beauty, talent, and confidence made her an icon, but they also made her a target for speculation. Throughout her career, she was at the center of countless rumors, some whispered behind closed doors, others splashed across headlines. From secret affairs with Hollywood's most powerful men to whispers of being blacklisted for refusing to conform, the stories never stopped. One of the most persistent rumors surrounded her alleged affairs with Hollywood's biggest stars. Her chemistry with Cary Grant was undeniable, and the world was convinced that their connection went beyond the screen. Grant himself was deeply in love with her, even proposing marriage. But did she ever secretly accept his affections? Some say there were moments when she was tempted, but in the end she chose to stay loyal to Carlo Ponti. And it wasn't just Grant. Rumors linked her to Frank Sinatra, Marlon Brando, and even Marcello Mastroianni. Some speculated that her rise in Hollywood was helped by secret romances with influential men. But Sophia never let the gossip define her. She built her career on talent, not affairs, and she never let anyone take that away from her. Then there were the blacklisting rumors. Hollywood had a reputation for punishing women who didn't follow its unspoken rules. Sophia was fiercely independent, refusing to let producers control her image. She rejected roles that required her to compromise her identity, and some believed this led to powerful figures quietly shutting doors on her. Was she pushed aside for not playing the game? Another topic that never seemed to fade was her youthful appearance. For decades, Sophia remained breathtaking, defying time in a way that made people question whether she had help. Did she ever have cosmetic surgery? Some claimed she had subtle procedures, while others insisted she aged naturally, simply blessed with extraordinary genes. She never entertained the gossip, choosing to let people believe what they wanted. Even her relationships with fellow actresses weren't spared. Rumors swirled of tensions with other Hollywood legends, jealousy, competition, and behind-the-scenes feuds. Some claimed she had clashes with Marilyn Monroe, others with Elizabeth Taylor. But Sophia never publicly entertained these stories. She carried herself with dignity, refusing to feed into the gossip machine. Through it all, Sophia remained untouched by scandal. She never lashed out, never gave dramatic interviews, never tried to prove anything. She let her work speak for itself, and in doing so, she won the greatest battle of all: respect. But even in her later years, challenges never stopped coming. Aging in the limelight brought new struggles, ones that even a legend like Sophia Loren couldn't avoid. Aging in Hollywood is a battle, especially for women. Sophia Loren, once the epitome of youth and beauty, faced the harsh reality of an industry that worships freshness and discards experience. For decades, people wondered, how does she stay so radiant? She never chased youth through artificial means. Instead, she embraced elegance, carrying herself with the same confidence that made her a star. But even for someone as revered as Sophia, the pressure was relentless. As younger stars took center stage, roles became fewer, and Hollywood's obsession with age became clearer. Rather than forcing herself into an industry that prioritizes the new over the legendary, she made a choice. She stepped back. Not because she was forgotten, but because she refused to be reduced to a shadow of her former self. However, she never truly left. Sophia Loren never officially retired. She made selective appearances, taking on roles that spoke to her soul rather than clinging to relevance for the sake of it. She chose dignity over desperation, proving that true icons never fade, they evolve. Speculations about her health have followed her for years. Fans worried when she disappeared from the public eye for long stretches, questioning whether illness or age had taken a toll. But Sophia never entertained the noise. She continued to live on her terms, appearing in rare interviews, memoirs, and even the occasional film, reminding the world that she was still here. At 90, her wisdom is her greatest legacy. When asked about aging, she simply says, "There is no secret, just live, love, and never let anyone define your worth." That mindset is what has kept her relevant, not just as an actress, but as a timeless figure of strength, grace, and resilience. And that resilience has cemented her place in history. She is more than a star, she is a legend, one whose light refuses to dim. Sophia Loren is not just an actress, she is a symbol of resilience, talent, and timeless beauty. Her career, spanning over 70 years, has left an impact that few can match. From humble beginnings in war-torn Italy to becoming a global icon, her journey is nothing short of extraordinary. She didn't just star in films, she transformed the industry itself. Her influence is undeniable. She paved the way for Italian actresses in Hollywood, proving that talent has no borders. Before her, Italian stars were often relegated to side roles, their accents seen as barriers. Sophia shattered those limits, proving that a woman could be both glamorous and powerful, both sensual and deeply talented. Her performances were more than just roles, they were moments in history. Her Oscar win for Two Women in 1960 was groundbreaking, making her the first person to win an Academy Award for a non-English speaking role. That moment alone changed perceptions, proving that powerful storytelling could transcend language. She made the world listen, not just look. But it wasn't just one film. Her body of work, from Italian neorealism to Hollywood blockbusters, remains unmatched. She held her own alongside legends like Cary Grant, Marlon Brando, and Paul Newman, proving she wasn't just a starlet, she was a force. Her legacy isn't just about films, it's about recognition. She has received countless awards, from lifetime achievement honors to her prestigious Oscar, cementing her place in cinema history. Even today, film schools, actors, and critics study her performances, dissecting the magic that made her unforgettable. And yet, her influence isn't trapped in the past. Her films are still watched, and her presence is still felt. In a world that moves fast, Sophia Loren remains timeless, her impact never fading. At 90, Sophia Loren's story is far from over. She is not just a legend of the past, she is a legacy that continues to inspire, proving that true greatness never grows old. Sophia Loren is more than a Hollywood star, she is a living legend. She has defied time, shattered barriers, and rewritten the rules of success. From the ruins of war-torn Italy to the grand stages of Hollywood, her journey is one of strength, resilience, and an unbreakable spirit. She never bowed to the industry's demands, never let scandal define her, and never allowed age to dim her radiance. Even at 90, she remains a force, captivating the world with her wisdom and grace. Her films, her legacy, and her impact on cinema will live on for generations. She didn't just play roles, she embodied them, leaving behind stories that still move audiences today. But Sophia Loren's story isn't just about Hollywood. It's about never giving up, about embracing who you are, and about standing tall in the face of doubt. Her legacy proves that true beauty is found in courage, that greatness is built on perseverance, and that legends never fade. If her story has inspired you, share it. Celebrate the icons who shaped history, because Sophia Loren's light will never go out. It will shine forever.